So guys, it's June the 7th and I'm just trying to show you, if I can zoom in a bit maybe, if you can see those sparrows. This one just perched on that cane, but that is why I had to net my beetroot and the peas actually, because right now you can see them on the cane there. They're going for the beetroot. I took the net off because they sort of needed a bit more room, and within a day of taking that net off, you know, they'd found them, and they're at them constantly, but they're big enough now to sort of sustain that. It doesn't really hurt them that much, but obviously when they're young plants it can be devastating. And they're doing the same with the peas, you know, any sort of stem that comes out the net or pops out sort of down below there, they're in and pecking the leaves. But like I say, they can sort of sustain it, but yeah, sometimes we can have up to maybe 8 or 10. So I've got some more little plugs of beetroot to go out in the farthest bed where the spring onions are, right down sort of at the back there, so I'll be netting those. Alright guys, so another little update. It's the 8th of June and I've just done the micro orchard here. You can see that I finally got the courgettes and the Ichiki Kuri Squash in. I had to get them in because we're going away for a few days this week in the van, and so I couldn't really attend to the watering, so they'll have to take the chance, but it is supposed to be warming up, so they should be okay. You can see I've kind of put them near to the trellis, so the idea is, you know, to once they get up there, whichever rail, and just train them along, you know. And I've also put a couple of more primo cabbage in. So I've just thrown a piece of scaffold now. I didn't have any environment mesh. I know there's a hole in it, so I'm just going to hope for the best really. I mean, I've got cabbage at home and that, so, and kale, but what is there now, about half a dozen summer cabbage in there. It's a primo, it's a, I think it was called Golden Acre. It's a ball head cabbage, it's a good cabbage, white cabbage, and I've got a kale in there as well. So we'll see how we go on. The Sarpomyra are just coming up to flower. You can see that the Nicola potatoes and the rocket have been flowering for a while now. So another 3 weeks or so, and probably start to lift a root of rocket and see how they're doing. If they're good, they can come up, and then obviously I've got some leeks that can go in there. As soon as they're out, the leeks go in, and that's kind of the way that I do it. So guys, it's the 12th of June. We've just come back from a few days over in York. Actually, we should have gone last year, but because I was in hospital we had to postpone it. Anyway, we've had a really lovely time and the weather was very nice to us actually, but you can see it's quite cloudy and there's rain on the way. I think we've got a risk of thunderstorms, so we've only been back about half an hour, and obviously I wanted to see how the garden was looking. It's looking fine. I've just picked these Monch 2, that's our second picking, and I think what I need to do is probably take this net off. Again, I've just had this on because of the sparrows tend to go mad for them, but I think it won't matter so much now. You can see they're pushing up against the top of the net, so they should be okay. I'll let you know. I mean, sparrows can like same as the beets, you know, within a day of taking the net off they found them and they were into them, pecking them. You can see the damage there on the leaves, but as I say, they're sort of big enough now they can cope with it, so that's not a problem. It always never fails to amaze me when you go away, you know, just for a few days, the difference in the plants. So for example, I've come back now and the tomatoes have got the first truss opening, which obviously wasn't on the Sunday night I watered them. I'm going to water them again tonight, it's Thursday. Also, I've got a question, if anybody knows. If you look at the basil, does anybody know, is that sun scorch? Obviously because we weren't around, I couldn't, I don't have an automatic vent, so it's possible it could have got really hot, but you can see this kind of discoloration and I'm just wondering if anybody else has experienced it or knows, you know, is it sun scorch, is it something else? If you know, drop me a comment down below, I'd really appreciate it. But generally speaking, they're all looking good. Again, this leaf curl here, I think it could be down to big temperature fluctuations, possibly. Not sure. But that's the greenhouse. So let's have a quick look at the seedlings. So I think I can plant those beets out now. I've just watered them, which is why they look a bit floppy. But I'll probably get those out this weekend. I've got a couple of spare cabbage there, some spare French beans, and this is tray spring onions. Nothing, I think, oh yeah, I can just see them starting to come through. They are going to replace these. I mean, I've shown you these before, but they're absolutely superb. White Lisbon. But to be honest with you, my mate will be taking most of them, because we can't just get through that quantity like, but he'll be glad of them, I'm sure. I'll probably pick some of our first season's beetroot tomorrow as well. Right guys, it's the 13th of June, Friday the 13th, looking for some. Get your ticket for tonight. Anyway, I put my Codling Moth Trap, the pheromone trap, out. Muddy Boots was showing he put his out about 2 weeks ago, I think, but I was hanging back because the nights were pretty cool here anyway, but last night was very warm and humid, and I thought that well might be moths flying around, so I put it out, and if you can see in there, I don't know, I'm hoping you can see that, there's about 5 in it already, and that's just last night. So it's doing its job. So I need to go and put, I've got some of the older tent style ones that I'm going to go and put down the orchard. So I've come down to the micro orchard with the other pheromone Codling Moth Trap, and you can see I put it up in this tree, roughly around head height, maybe a little bit lower, but I'll have to come back. For some reason I didn't have the actual pheromone lure, so I put the sticky insert in. It must be in the fridge somewhere at home, I've just overlooked it, so I'll pop that down and just pop it in the middle of that sticky trap, and then that's hopefully this tree and most of the others protected. Like I say, it's not as relevant these days because most of my apples go for pressing for cider, so it doesn't really matter if they get grubbed. But this tree's got a lot of really good eaters. It's a multi-grafted tree. These are eaters, and by the way, can you see all that on the deck? That's the June drop, for those of you who don't know. I know a lot of you will know, but for those of you who haven't really grown fruit before, if you see this, don't be alarmed, it's just a natural process. It's called the June drop. It's just the tree getting rid of unwanted fruits basically, so nothing to worry about. But I will be coming back very, very shortly actually and thinning these down to just 2 to a spur. So I'll probably take the king fruit out, this middle one here, and leave these 2, and I'll just go around the entire tree doing that. About the wind noise, I've just noticed the pinks have come out, so I need to cut some of those. This elephant garlic, I think that's almost ready for lifting, so I'm actually going to lift that one. I'll come back to you. Alright, it has got a little bit of white rot actually, which is disappointing, but you can see how it's just started to see the cloves there, hopefully. That skin's just split, so I think it's a good time now to get them up. So I'm going to get these up now, and then I'll just put them underneath there just so to keep them out of the worst of the rain, and then it can dry out. Alright, let's get them out. So these 3 big ones, these are fully divided into cloves, individual cloves. You can see them there splitting. So the one with a bit of white rot I'll put separately. Hopefully I'll be able to salvage it. If it's no good to save to replant, we'll just eat it. But these 2 definitely, I'm going to dry those out and then save those for replanting. And then the smaller ones made rounds. So you see you get one individual. Again, this is for folk who don't already know this. Apologies for those who already do, just skip this bit of the video. So you can see it's just one big, well, not that big, but a fairly large round, like an onion. single bulb, and that's all of those there. So all those will be replanted, and these little corms, if you plant those, you'll get something like that the following year. So I will plant those as well. So guys, I've got myself home, and here's this beautiful bunch of pinks, and the smell, oh, it's absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm so glad I kept those going. And yes, here's the other codling moth lure. It was indeed in the fridge, still in its foil sealed packet, so I'll pop that down, and later this afternoon just pop that into the trap, and then hopefully we're covered. So this kiwi vine, it's actually got two different plants in now. That one there I planted about 5 years ago, I think, or something like that. That one's been in probably 12 years or more. Anyway, last year I started to summer prune it to just keep it under control, because it's very vigorous and it tends to spill right over and then shade the courgettes and things. So that strategy's been working well. You can see there's just one or two big ones I've not been able to reach, but this stuff here is regrowth. So if you can see, that's where I cut it, and then it's thrown out these two new growths. So really it's just a case of removing those. They're actually quite tough, so I'll have to cut those off, but I'm just going to come back and prune those. There's another one there, you see it coming, there's the cut, there's the regrowth. So I'm just going to come back and nip those off again. But you can see that it's been flowering quite profusely, and it seems as though there's little fruit setting just now. Lots of flowers. So hopefully it's going to be quite good in terms of the kiwi fruits. It was pretty good last year, but because there's getting more light and air in, hopefully they'll be even better. This one, folks, as always, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next one. Bye for now.